We are live. We are going to wait and see if anybody shows up at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Normally we do lives in the
On the
evening.
weekend?
No, we do live. I think it's been in the evening.
Has it?
It's been in the evening. So we'll see if anybody shows up. If nobody shows up, then we'll just talk about what I wanted to talk about. And do it alone. Oh, one person's here. Yay, one person. Thank you for showing up. One person. Put your name in the chat. So I'm like, who are you? Because I can't see who is showing up just by the little view icon thingy. Anyway, this live is mostly because we have some big news. We're getting divorced. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're not getting divorced.
News to me too.
Joe's like, what? You came on live to tell me that you wanted a divorce? Oh, hi, Heather. Yay. I have a friend in the house. I'm feeling like 5 people is great. I'd rather have 5 people than nobody at all. Okay, so yeah, this live is mostly because I was too lazy to edit a video. I went to edit videos that we're supposed to post today, right now, because I keep changing my upload times because I am like, I'll do it Friday and then I'll do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because I just, for some reason, I get like sidetracked and I can't upload on the day that I'm supposed to. So now Wednesdays is the upload days, and it'll be that way until I choose to procrastinate some more and pick a different day. But anyway, I went to upload. No, why do I have this like manual focus thing? Hang on. I have that thing in my face. Hang on. It's not supposed to be in autofocus. Hang on. I have to. Hang on, guys. Just give me a second. I have to like change this though. There. Now you don't have a square on my face. I thought I did that before. I don't know what I was talking about. What was I talking about?
Being disorganized and changing your upload dates all the time.
Being disorganized and changing my upload dates. Anyway, so I went to edit videos, and I realized that one of the things that I taped with my friends, which was aerobics, I accidentally deleted the taping of it. So now I have to ask them to do it all again. And the other one, a friend of mine was supposed to send me some screenshots of the thing that we were taping, and I didn't get them all. So we're doing this live, and Joe's home from work today. So he's basically being held hostage because I think it's funner to do a live with him sitting here looking grumpy than doing it all by myself. He's not grumpy. Anyway, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about is sort of like the future of Empowered Para, and how I plan to be a full-time content creator for you guys, because I really like creating content. And one of the things that I've struggled with over the last 3 years is trying to balance my actual job and making money and creating content for you guys, because it takes up a lot of my time. I didn't know a thing about editing, so it was a really steep learning curve in order to be able to edit videos. I'm still really disorganized at it. I'm trying to get better at it, but I want to either have a job that, you know, pays my mortgage or be a content creator. And I needed to find a way to have content creation be the thing that's paying my mortgage, or at least contributing something, so that it's not just a really, really expensive hobby. So I have created a Patreon account so that if you guys appreciate my content, you can contribute to my channel and its future. And if you have the money, you can do that. And if you don't, then I want to continue to create free content for you guys, because that's really important to me. There were other sort of things that I toyed around with in terms of monetizing my platform, but I really, at this point, I want to keep it free for the people that can't afford to pay for content around spinal cord injury, because I know that there's a lot of you out there that just don't have the money to, you know, pay for a course or something like that. So I want to create all of my content and keep it absolutely free. And if you have, you know, $2, $5, I have different levels, $2, $5, $10, $20, $30 a month. And if you have any of those availabilities in your budget, then you can contribute to my channel. And if you don't, that's great too. I love to have you here either way. So I put the link to my Patreon way at the top. So you can check it out. I'll post it again a few times in this so that you don't have to keep scrolling. So that's the first thing. So you'll see me talking about Patreon in my videos. And then the other thing that I'm doing to keep my content free is trying to get more brand sponsorships so that they're paying my bills and you guys aren't. So you'll see more of those kinds of things on my channel, hopefully. Maybe nobody will want to advertise with me. And maybe none of the brands that I want to work with will want to work with me, but I'm hoping that they will. And I'm hoping that they'll see the value in the community that I've built. So you might see more of that. So I just know some people will be like, she's selling out, whatever. And just wanted to let you know that it's all because I want to keep the content free for you guys. So if you have to put up with some ads and things like that, then that's my way of creating free content and still being able to pay my mortgage. Make him be like, why are you spending so much time on this super expensive hobby? Anyway, so that was the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Second thing that I wanted to talk about, I'll see if there's like questions in here first, so that in case I'm like not missing anything that anybody's trying to talk to me about. I almost had a heart attack. I'm killing people here talking about us getting divorced. Do you know that like there's so many times that I will love a couple like that I follow on YouTube or Instagram, and then I'll find out they're getting divorced and they seem so happy. And that always scares the shit out of me because I'm like, there's got to be something either that people are faking, or the other thing that has to be true is that something can happen that can totally fracture a relationship and it just ends. So that always scares me, and I don't ever want that to happen to us. That's never going to happen to us, right?
No, and for the people
Move in. Why are you always so far away? Like
because I need space for my legs.
Oh.
And for the people who joined in after her joke, we're not getting a divorce.
Yeah, we're not getting a divorce. Yeah, in case that's all you joined. And you're like, oh, I hate this couple now. Another one that's falling apart. I was just kidding. But it does scare me. It really does scare me. And we have some like interesting. I should get Joe to talk about his take on relationships and how they stay, because at first I hated it, but now I think it's on point. So we can talk about that in a minute. Yeah, didn't want to kill anybody. Just looking at the chats here. Okay, so I don't see any questions so far. So we'll just keep talking about, unless you see any questions, Joe.
No.
Okay, so the second thing that I wanted to talk about was Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month, because September is Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. And the only reason I know that is because I'm on this show called Push. If you guys haven't watched it, it's on CBC, and you can watch it on CBC Gem. Is it CBC? I keep saying the wrong thing. It's CBC, right? Yeah. Last time I said CTV and somebody was like, it's CBC. So I apologize, CBC, if you're watching this. I only misspoke one time. It's CBC Gem. You can go watch it. And they are doing, I guess, like promotions around Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month, because we have a whole full cast of disabilities. So that's really the only reason that I pay attention to it at all, because other people are telling me about it. And really, spinal cord injury awareness, I think, isn't like a thing that happens in a month. I think spinal cord injury awareness is something that happens all year. And it happens in the ways that I interact with the people that I meet on a daily basis. So I wanted to just talk about that a little bit, because I think there's a lot of annoying fluff that goes around with Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month, especially from companies and things like that are trying to jump on a bandwagon about inclusivity and all that stuff. And I just wanted to sort of get your guys' take on what you think Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month means, because for me, it doesn't really mean much unless you're doing the things that improve I guess the circumstances for people with spinal cord injuries all year round. And I think that happens with relationships. I think if you meet somebody and you're kind to them and you're yourself and you have a good personality, then those people like you and they want you around. And then they're like, oh, geez, I didn't realize that this wasn't accessible. And because they want you around and you have a good relationship with them, they start thinking more about how to make it more inclusive or accessible. And so I think that that's something, if you guys haven't thought about, you should think about, because sometimes it's really hard, especially if you're struggling with being frustrated or depressed. It's hard to build positive relationships with people. And I think then not having positive relationships can then negatively affect your life and make your circumstances even worse. And so then it can just perpetuate the perception that disability really sucks. And in my life, that hasn't been the case. I've gotten more opportunities, more people being kind to me, more people noticing me, more people, all of the above, because of my disability. And I think it's because I build positive relationships and I increase the awareness on a daily basis with those relationships of what spinal cord injury is really like and how our lives are exactly the same as everybody else's. We just do it with some additional challenges. So I wanted to chat about that. I'll see if you guys have any comments about that. I'm in the US. Where can I find Push to View? So that is a really sucky thing. You can't watch it legally if you're in the US.
So you can't get a subscription to CBC Gem outside of Canada?
No, you can't. CBC Gem is like an app like Netflix for CBC, and it's only available in Canadian geographical regions. So it like if somebody tries, I've had people try to subscribe and it won't let them. So there's ways around it. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but I've had a few people tell me that there's ways around it, but it's not a legal way. So if you want a chance doing that, I do know though that the producers are re-editing the first season for international sales. So I'm really hoping that some US networks pick it up, maybe even Netflix. That would be really cool. And if that ever happens, I will keep you guys posted about what?
Face red, droopy eyes.
Is that me?
I don't know.
Do I have a red face and droopy eyes? I hope not. Yes, refer to Elizabeth's comment about watching Push in other areas. Oh yes, I should talk about, I never talked about what you get with the Patreon. I should talk about that probably with you guys. So I came up with different levels, and for now, the first 3 levels essentially are just, you guys get access to my content earlier and without ads. So it's all going to be posted on Patreon, and then you guys sign up for Patreon, which is, I know, annoying that you have to go sign up for another website, which I struggled with because there's YouTube memberships, which doesn't take you off of the YouTube site, but it just gives YouTube more money, essentially. I get a portion of the YouTube memberships, but it's not coming directly to me. Which, like, I love YouTube. It's the platform I've chosen to build my community on and put my videos on. So I think they're a great platform, and they are actually really generous in terms of how much ad revenue they give to creators. But I just think it's a nicer platform, Patreon, because it's a whole sort of community building platform. And for me, that's the most important thing, because I don't create videos just to create videos. I create videos to build community, to make people feel less alone. And ultimately, with my newsletter, my email newsletter, if you're not signed up for that, I should put a link to that as well. I don't know if I can do that without going off of this. I don't know if I can do that. Hang on. If I leave, yep, it'll take me. I think it'll take me away. I don't know. I don't know if I go on a new tab, if you guys can still see me. I hate this. I'm so technologically not.
I don't know. The stuff that you research and learn how to do, like video editing, isn't the easiest.
No, it's not the easiest. No, I know it's not the easiest, but this stuff, I literally, every single time I go to hook up my, do a live, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And it takes me forever. This time it only took me about 5 minutes. Yeah. If you're not on my email list, you can essentially go to my website, and there's a way to sign up for it there. And I'll try and post a link. Give me 1 second. If I disappear, I don't think I will, because my camera's still pointed at my face, but if I disappear, let me know. I should have this link posted somewhere, but I'm freaking terrible. Hang on. I promise I'll be back in 1 second. Okay. I don't know if I disappeared there for a second, but there. You can sign up for my email list. I posted the link. And I mostly post every Friday, but sometimes I get really terrible and busy, and so I don't always post. And I only post when I have something decent to say, because I hate shitty, crappy emails that just are nothing. So what? Hey, just
so they want to know. They want to know if they have to watch your videos through Patreon now, or whether they still go through YouTube.
If you want to see the early, get early access to the videos, you have to go to the Patreon site. And haven't entirely worked out how early they're going to be. So I'm terrible. But they will be early. And if you're on Patreon, you'll get a notification, I'm sure. I don't know how it all works. This is all like new to me. So I signed up for Patreon and I created tiers. And the first 3 tiers are the early access. Their 4th tier, I think there's 5. The 4th tier is exclusive vlogs. So there will be, not all the time, but I'll do vlogs that it'll just go to you guys that are in that 4th tier. And then in the 5th tier, it's going to be Zoom Hangouts, because I love engaging with you guys. And it's a way of saying thank you for me to the people that are able to support my channel in that way. We can have some Zoom Hangouts and get to know each other better on that level. If it's a lot of people with spinal cord injuries, then I'll try to make them around topics about spinal cord injury. I'll see once I kind of get in the room, I'll have topics ready so that we can actually learn together and discuss together. And if people are struggling, so like Zoom Hangout / support group, we'll see how it goes and what it turns into. But so yeah, if you get all the way to that 5th tier, which is still only just $30 a month, which is a lot for some people. So I don't want to make it sound like it's not a lot of money. But if you can squeeze that, then you get the Zoom Hangouts too. Can I post this show? Love your channel. Really like how open and honest you are about everything related to your disability. I have spina bifida. I'm a para as well, and I relate with quite a few things you talk about. That is one of the things that on my Patreon, I say your daily dose of TMI about life in a wheelchair, because I think I've kind of become known for that. I've peed on YouTube so many times. And my kids are always wondering why I don't get demonetized, because they're like, you pee on YouTube. That shouldn't be allowed. But I really didn't have anybody to show me that stuff. So I want to be that for somebody else. And I don't care if it's TMI. If the people who don't want the TMI don't want to see it, don't watch it. But for the people who do want to see it, I think it's really, really important. So I appreciate that you appreciate Gabe, my TMI, because that's who I do it for. And yes, Rose, I do think it's educational. I do think all of my things are educational. I am a teacher, and this is one way that I get to sort of scratch that itch and not be with a bunch of asshole kids all day, because that gets really hard. Kids aren't assholes. Kids are actually really brilliant. I really like teaching. I really do like teaching, but it can get exhausting sometimes. And especially if you're in a classroom that you don't prefer, and there are a lot of challenging kids in there, it can get really hard. But this allows me to do that with you guys. And I really like being able to take information and distill it down into something that's easily understandable. I have a degree in chemistry and biology, so I really like nutrition, the human body, that kind of stuff. I really want to do more stuff on health and things like that. I'm always a little worried because I don't want my advice to ever hurt anybody. But we'll see if that comes out more in the future, if I'm less worried about that stuff, because I really think it is important to stay healthy, to be healthy with a spinal cord injury. And there's a lot of extra things that we have with our health that I think are just not well understood. So yeah, I might start putting more of that stuff on my channel. Okay, so we talked about the future of empowered para in a really disorganized way.
What's new?
What's new? Whatever. You guys like it. This is me telling a story. Ask Joe, how do I tell a story?
You go off in 20 different directions, and then I have to pull you back to the point that you were initially trying to make.
Yeah. That's me. I'm always like, wait, I'm going to give you all this irrelevant information, because I feel like it's setting up the context. And he's like, no, I don't need that. No, just what is the point? And then eventually I get to the point. I'm like, oh yeah, that stuff was pretty irrelevant. Or I missed something entirely important. And he's like, what? And then I'm like, oh, I missed this whole part that's really important, which is sometimes really hard for me when I'm teaching, because I will think I will have explained something extremely well. And then kids are so confused. And I'm like, I missed that whole part. That was probably really critical for you to understand the whole thing. But my brain jumps. Like, I don't know if you guys have brains like mine, but mine jumps. Joe's is very, like, it does not go anywhere. Like, it goes A, B, C, D, and mine's like A, Z, R, T. I can do that. And then I'm like, I still know where I'm going, kind of. And I zigzag all over the place. Yeah. Well, I like that you like listening to my zigzaggy stuff, Rose. Rose says, I love you. That's why I love your channel. It's so fun listening to you. I keep people interested because they're like, where is she going now?
Confused. Confused, interested. Yeah.
Confused, interested. Well, you married me, so you must have found me interesting with my...
I like those shows sometimes that keep you guessing until the very end. Doesn't make sense at all until the very end of the show. And then it all clicks together and you get that like endorphin thing, like, oh my God. So.
You just made my disorganized thing sound really good. Oh my God, I spinach in my teeth. That's always a fear. Awful. I ate spinach this morning. In case you're wondering why I spinach in my teeth. Now I'm really self-conscious about it. And it's still in my teeth. Now I can't smile.
So cleaning your teeth on...
I'm cleaning my teeth on YouTube, but it's still there, see? I can't help it.
Take a drink of your tea. So
I did. Okay, I got it. And then I ate it. Gross. I don't know. What was I supposed to do with it? Wipe it on my pants? Anyway, I got spinach in my teeth and I got it out. Live on YouTube. So interesting. I ate eggs and spinach and a banana for breakfast, if you're curious. Okay. So we talked about, we have to leave the live at 10:50 because we have to go to a massage. So we have like about 15 minutes left. So the second thing that I wanted to talk about in not the Patreon was sort of the human potential thing. There's been some stuff happening in our personal lives that make me think a lot about human potential and how two people can be in the very same situation, but have vastly different reactions to it. And I know for me, when I was first paralyzed, I spent 5 years really, really not reacting appropriately to it at all. I talked about if you've watched that video about how I learned how paralyzed people poop, you can go find that video. It's called The Day I Learned How Paralyzed People Poop. And it was me learning how I was going to have to poop for the rest of my life and how digital stimulation worked. And I thought it was like some cool thing, digital like technology. I'm like, oh, what's this thing that's going to help me poop for the rest of my life? And they're like, nope, just digit. And you have to stick it up your butt in order to poop. And I was like, oh my God, it was like, I couldn't handle it. I just could not handle it, 13, 14 years old, all of these personal care things. And I just thought it was disgusting. And so I let my mom, which is now that I like think about it, I'm like, that's worse. Somebody else sticking your finger up your butt is worse. And my mom, like it was just worse, but she was my full-time caregiver for 5 years. And I did not handle the things that I was going to have to do appropriately. I just kind of let somebody else take over and just kind of coasted. And then it clicked in for me that like, this isn't going away. Like it's not going away. So you just may as well get over it. And then something, because of that clicking in, I just got over it, I guess. And then I was fine. And I always wonder how that happens for people and how some people can just completely handle some situations horribly. And other people just take them and run. I have a friend who's in push. He's not in push a lot. I wish he was. His name's Brian, not Crazy Brian. He's Brian Muscles, if you're watching the show. And when he got paralyzed, his first reaction was, this is going to make me a better person. I'm like, what? That's not how most people react. Like most people are like, this is awful. lots of people get suicidal, and I wasn't suicidal, but I had like this thought, like if I died tomorrow, it's fine. Like I'm done with this life. And now I'm not like that at all. I think my life is wonderful. So I always wonder, you know, what that is for people and what makes it better. For me, I think there's support. Family support is a huge one. I think if people have family support, then it helps. And sometimes it can hinder, because sometimes people are like my mom. She was very enabling at first. So I think family support is important, as long as it's constructive. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Joe? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what you're asking me.
What makes somebody in the exact same situation handle something differently? What is it? Is it like a mental health issue? What is it?
I can't speak to mental health. I have no experience or relation with that I can speak intelligently about. What my belief is, though, is that we are a sum of our experiences, and sometimes it can be something that you would think would be a small experience or input in your life that can happen at a critical time that then can define part of who you are. So I think that can explain how two people or multiple people in the same situations, or even growing in the same environment, can take completely different paths, you know, because you may have the same parents or something like that, and you grow up in the same household with the same rules and everything else, but you have friends that influence you, teachers that influence you, a movie that you watched that just hit with you, you know, profoundly, that makes you take a different look on life. So I don't know, but I do think, you know, support systems are important. And once again, as long as it doesn't hinder you by enabling, you know, you to not step up and tackle life and find purpose in life. So
yeah, there's got to be a balance with that support. That support and like coddling kind of thing is, I'm not sure where the balance is. It's probably different for everybody, but you definitely have to find that. One of the things that for me is super important is not waiting to feel good before you do the things that you have to do. Because for me, you know, there's a lot of talk around like mental health now, and like all this, like, you know, you just have to tell yourself these good things and eventually you'll feel good and all that stuff. And for me, there's more, I guess, results come from like action than necessarily thought. Because I think, you know, your mental health is huge, and the things you say to yourself do matter. If you say to yourself every day that my life sucks, I hate it, it's really hard. Yeah. Like I would wake up every single day doing bowel routine and be like, I fucking hate this, like F-bomb it. Like in my mind, I was just like, this is the worst thing. I hate it. It takes up so much time. Why do I have to do this? Nobody else has to do this. I have to get up so much earlier than everybody else. That's what I woke up with every single day of my life. And now I don't ever wake up and think like bowel routine is negative. I just get up and do it. I read my book. I do what I have to do. Sometimes I want to get it over with. Like there's that where I like trying, okay, I just want to get this done. But there's never like a negative, like I hate this, because for me, I'm like, now I have like this huge gratitude that somebody out there figured out that if you stick your finger up your butt and you turn it around, you can still poop with spinal cord injury. I'm like, I don't know who figured that out, but thank you to that person. So I have like a gratitude for the people that have come before me that didn't have it as good as I do, that did get sick, that did die, that had, you know, really it affected their life expectancy. So what are you looking at?
Just looking at
the last
three comments.
I thought you were looking at the time. So I have that kind of gratitude. So for me, putting one foot in front of the other, not expecting things.
That's
I can't put one
foot.
Yeah. But just doing the things that life puts in front of you every day, regardless of how you feel about them. And then eventually those hard things become less hard. Your life feels less hard. You learn to do them faster, and they just become more routine, and then your life becomes easier.
You still have days You still have
yeah.
days where you get pissed off, and
Yeah.
you know, especially when you get sick and your nerve pain compounds it, and
Yeah.
you definitely have hard days here and there, but they're far and few between.
Yeah, I have, when I get sick, if I get like a cold or a flu or anything, my nerve pain goes berserk. So I normally have hypersensitivity in my left arm. I have like burning and tingling in my legs. But when I'm sick, I get like electrocuted at my level of injury, like right here. And it's relentless and it's infuriating. Like there have been times that I've like screamed and like, you know, like I'm just like, I can't handle this anymore. And that is really, really hard. So there's definitely days that I still get like that, where I'm just like, this is annoying. I don't want to do the work. Like, I don't want to drink this tea or whatever. And I don't want to pee so many times a day. And I don't want to think about how much fiber I'm eating. And I just want to eat all the junk food. But everybody has that. You know, if somebody has a hard time keeping their weight down as an able-bodied person, they have to really think about that. They have to think about exercising and all the healthy things they have to eat. So I'm not unique in that my health is a priority and that it's a challenging one. It just is what it is. But yeah, not gonna lie, life in a wheelchair sucks, but you have to look at your cup half full and try to be as independent as possible. Yep, I totally agree, Greg. I think that the more you can find autonomy, like whether it's independence / autonomy, because some people can't be independent, they just can't. It's not physically possible for them to be independent. But if you can have autonomy over your life, like, you know, I'm, you know, making this decision to have this caregiver and they're doing these things for me. And, you know, there's got to be a balance there around maybe what time they come in or whatever, but you're basically choosing how your life is to a certain degree. Then that feels better than feeling like life is happening to you, because there's nothing worse than just sort of being drug along by all of the things that, hang on. Now my camera only records for 20 minutes at a time. Then I have to like press the record button again. Yeah, there's nothing worse than being drug along by life. I just think that would be awful. So let's not do that.
A couple of those ones.
This one?
That one and the one below.
This one, yeah. One thing to live by is somebody always has it worse. I really like thinking about this one. I'm pulling my hair out and putting it over on Joe's side of the desk because it's falling out and I have black pants, so it's like on me. Somebody does really always have it worse. Like, unless, I don't know, I can't think of like what could be the most terrible thing in the world, but there really is, I think, somebody that always has it worse. Like, I might have to stick my finger up my butt to poop and use a catheter to pee, and I have terrible nerve pain and all of that stuff. But I think that I'd rather have that than be dying of cancer, or have one of my kids be dying of cancer, or be destitute.
It doesn't diminish from the challenges you have in life, but making things relative is definitely can be a tool.
Heather, this is really good. Heather is really positive. She's one of my like really good friends, and she is so positive and so stubborn. She's like, she will figure out anything. She's only been in a wheelchair for a short time, and she knows more about fixing her wheelchair and doing all that stuff than I do. It's crazy how intelligent she is. Like, it's just bizarre. But I think having a mindset that's open to change is key. It's hard, but so worth it. Really having a mindset that says, even though this doesn't look the way I thought it was going to look, I'll be okay and life is going to be okay. I think that's really important. Because when you get stuck in, this is how my life was supposed to be and I hate that it's not, then you get really stuck in that your life sucks and the unhappy sort of train. So I think having that like growth mindset, that openness to being like, this might be okay. It might not be what I look like, but it's okay. Or what I thought my life was going to look like. Even those of us that poop as able-bodied people don't like it. That's so true. I have a lot of inflammatory bowel disease in my family. So Joe's sister has Crohn's disease. My brother has Crohn's disease. Both of our moms have colitis. And the amount of times that they have sat in the car with poop cramps and been like, I need to get to a bathroom right now. Please, somebody stop. Like my mom literally does not eat when we travel because she's so worried about finding a bathroom. And so pooping is just, annoying for a lot of people. So that's one thing that's like very important to remember, that just because somebody's able-bodied doesn't mean that their life is easier than ours, or that they have nothing to complain about. Okay, so we are rounding down to like the last few minutes here that we are on this. Maybe we'll leave off with like the thing that I hinted about with Joe's philosophy on like how you keep like marriage alive and stuff, because I think that's a really interesting thing. So
well, you didn't prep me on this, so I don't know what you're
okay, so
about.
I'll give you like a little backstory. So when we were first together,
you're talking about like Prince Charming and a jerk.
No, not that. I'm talking about, so when we were first together, Joe refused to talk to any of his ex-girlfriends, like ever. And I was like, what? Like, that's so dumb. And I was like, why? Because I talk, not all the time, but like I talk to my ex and I'm just like, what? And he was like, I choose to be with you and I choose to love you and I choose not to introduce any temptations in my life. And I'm like, what, you're saying there would be temptation if you talk to your ex? And he's like, no, I'm not saying there would be temptation. I'm saying I choose you and I choose not to do that. And he sort of introduced the concept to me that like, there is no, like, I fell in love with you and that's it. You work on
you make that choice every day.
Yeah, you make that choice every day. You wake up and
make that choice every day of your life together.
Yeah. So I used to hate that because I used to have that like philosophy that like, we were meant to be, we're soulmates, whatever. And now that I've been married for nearly, I don't know how long we've been married, but we've been together for 12 years. We've been together for 16 years. I know that there are times where you don't like the person necessarily every day. You're just like, you annoy me sometimes, but you always love the person. There's always like an undercurrent of like caring. You just don't really have that same like feeling that you did at the beginning where it's like, oh, this is meant to be. And this is awesome. You literally have to choose that person all the time. And so I don't know if you guys have that same philosophy where, I think it like relates to how life is work. You're not going to like it all the time and you have to choose to show up for it. And that's the same with like marriage. You're not going to like it all the time and you have to choose to show up for it, regardless of what it looks like that day, that minute, that year. Because sometimes there's patches where it really sucks. And if you just throw in the towel, a lot of people do, especially with spinal cord injuries. There's a lot of suicide in our community because they're just like, I don't want to see what's on the other side of this. And I think having a mentality where I do want to see what's on the other side of this in my life, in my marriage, in whatever challenges there are, in this YouTube channel, in whatever it is that life is sort of throwing in front of me, I want to see what's on the other side of it. Because usually it's more amazing than what I could ever have predicted. And there's been so many things that I've gotten the opportunity to do that I don't think I would have ever gotten the opportunity to do had life not taken me down this path that I totally didn't ask for and didn't expect. And I think that's the beauty of it. So yeah, I just wanted to share that neat little, I mean, maybe it's not neat, maybe it's normal. Maybe I was the one that was crazy that had the notion that, love is, it happens and then you don't have to work on it. But I was really young when we got together. So maybe that's
not
fine.
That young. Come on, you're in your 20s.
I was 21.
Jeez.
I was 21. Mm-hmm. So I still had that like, oh, wow.
And I was in my late 20s.
Wish Joe would do a video on how he maintains and repairs wheelchairs. He doesn't. He fixes it when I ask him to. I'm actually going to ask.
I don't know when there's an issue. You're the one sitting in it 18 hours a day.
He does fix my wheelchair. That's not true. Like if there's something wrong with it, he'll fix it. We don't have like a schedule of like maintenance or anything like that. But my friend Crazy Brian, who's been on the channel a few times, he is gonna do it because I really want it to come from a perspective of somebody in a wheelchair, because it's obviously the same for an able-bodied person to do it. If you can't do it, if you're like high-level quadriplegic or even a quadriplegic that is a lower level one but doesn't have good hand dexterity and you can't do the maintenance on your wheelchair yourself, he's
Or you can see how somebody
Yeah.
in a wheelchair can
do it. And I just wanted that to come from somebody in a wheelchair, because I've never done wheelchair maintenance, anything like that on my own, and I've been in a wheelchair for so long. So it's coming. I promise. We're just trying to find a time to do it. He goes, "You keep threatening me to do it," and we haven't done it. So I'm just gonna check to see if there's anything that I missed, and then we're gonna have to sign off. I know this is like, it always goes by so fast. It's crazy. Why don't I get a colostomy bag? I'm a C4-5 and had it done. It's an awesome and better way to do bowel prep. I actually think that in the future, when I can't transfer as easily, I will do that. I do have lots of friends that have colostomy bags. For now, my bowel routine isn't that onerous. I stick a suppository in, I lay down for 20 minutes, maybe like 10 sometimes. Depends on the day, 5 to 10 minutes sometimes 20 if nothing's like moving around. I get up, I sit for a bit, and then I do a couple of ditch stims. So for me right now, it's not a big issue, but definitely when I get older and my strength and transferring and stuff goes down and we want to travel and whatever, then I definitely think that will be something that I may do. So yeah. Got a few bits of advice off you on Instagram. Yeah, I don't post on there enough. I'm really trying. I told myself that this month I was going to post every day on Instagram and TikTok, and then I've been trying to post the same TikTok video for like 5 days, and TikTok won't post it. So it's like messed up my thing. But I want to be more active on social media, because not everybody's on YouTube. Not everybody is going to find me on YouTube. So a short video on how to break down a rigid frame chair would be great for showing Uber. And yeah, even just like things like that, like how do I get in a taxi, or how does somebody get in a taxi or a vehicle when they're not in their own vehicle? I never these little kinds of videos you never really think about, because they're so, I don't know. I'm like, everybody knows how to break down a rigid chair, but if you're newly paralyzed, you absolutely don't know how to break down a rigid chair. So that's a really good idea. Heather, I should do that. Okay. Okay. We have to go. We have massages in like 20 minutes. Joe's is like a little bit after mine, but we booked them at the same time so we can go in the same car. So we'll have to sign off, but thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to post my Patreon one more time. Hang on. Copy link.
I was going to say it's probably still on your clipboard.
Oh, yeah, it probably would have been. So there's my Patreon. If you want to click on the link here before I sign off and go check it out. I would appreciate it. It's basically like a tip jar for me and allows me to create more free content and get paid for it, so that I'm not just spending my time doing this and also trying to work, which has been really challenging at times. So I love you guys, and I will catch you back here on another video. Bye.
Take care.